All right, y'all good?
Yeah.
All right, Steven. Don't mess it up this year.
Yeah, we'll try. Just how excited are you to kick this thing off after another long offseason?
Fired up to get last season behind us and open a new chapter. And I think everybody in our program that's here last year feels the exact same way. You know, the last 9-10 months, how hard our kids been playing, our players are working, and our coaches and just everybody in this building and putting the work in to kind of make sure we don't have a repeat of that and close that chapter, don't look out the rear view and move forward, as we said before, and just focus on what's in front of us. And right now that's Norfolk State, the biggest game of the year, next game of the year, and most importantly, get to open up in Dowdy-Ficklin, be back with Pirate Nation in front of our fans that our kids are so excited to play in front of.
You've talked a lot about, you know, how much of a pleasure it is as a coach here to be a part of game day. So, like, what are kind of the emotions for you going into year 5 as DC or just having another shot?
Year 5. I mean, that's it's pretty special. Not only to me, to my family, and I think that's, you know, my kids are getting old enough to now that they understand, like, the game, you know, football, Pirate Nation. You ask them who their favorite team is, and they talk about the Pirates or, you know, what sport's important to them or what their favorite sport is. It's football, and my daughter told me the other day she doesn't want to play football, but that is her favorite sport, and I told her she needs to toughen up a little bit. But, you know, I think from all the game day traditions here and just seeing our fans and seeing the excitement and being back in front of that stadium and watching our kids go at it and playing the way they play defensively and playing with effort and flying around and creating turnovers and getting big stops on third down. So just look forward to seeing all that on Saturday and, you know, just blessed to be a part of this. I mean, we talk so much about, you know, we get caught up in the rat race sometimes in life, and we don't take the time to appreciate where we're at. And I think sometimes you got to step back and just appreciate where we're at, be thankful. You know, thank God that, you know, you're blessed to be here, be blessed in a place that cares about football. There's a lot of places out there that be a half-empty stadium on Saturday, and nobody really cares about game 1. But, you know, here in Pirate Nation and 252 in Greenville and in Dowdy-Ficklin, we're going to have that place rocking, and truly fired up about that.
What did you see from Norfolk State's offense Saturday night?
Yeah, I saw 2 tailbacks that were really good. We call them Thunder and Lightning. You know, 13 obviously took the third play of the game to the house for 82 yards. And I thought, like, you know, last year I thought 33 was the bigger back. He was the bigger back, but better back, you know, more of a downhill runner. 13 always balanced it. But the other night, 13 was between the tackles, make some really good cuts, and getting downhill. I thought Jalen Daniels is a very efficient quarterback there the other night, 7 of 9. Worked the ball down the field, has a strong arm. You know, started out South Carolina. I think he has the same quarterback trainer as Spencer Rattler from California, Arizona, out that way. Played JUCO last year, so he's played some football. You know, obviously that was game 1 for them. The old saying is you make your biggest improvement from game 1 to game 2. So they're going to clean some things up. I'm sure we'll see a different football team than we saw on tape and on the TV last Saturday. So, you know, I think they got a very good football team coming in here. And, you know, we got to freaking play our tails off to get the W.
New OC, so, I mean, they could come out and do something different this week, but at least to have some film to watch.
Yeah, I tell you what, going into game 1, I think there's always been over my career, like, 2 things. Game 1 is scary. Like, when you're a special teams coordinator, you never know who can, you know, new punt system or new punt return or new kickoffs, you know, what they're going to do on that. And then going into game 1 as a DC, like, if you're facing a new opponent or a new OC for the first time, he hasn't called it. You know, in some ways that was Michigan last year. We were facing a new OC. It was just the guy was suspended, but you know kind of what they were going to do. You didn't think they were going to get far away from it. But going to this game, you know, all summer we're looking at Alcorn State. We're looking at what he did at the JUCO, those type of things, watching Norfolk State film. So you're watching about a 40-game study. And now you kind of, okay, this is what they did last Saturday night. That's kind of like this section of games, so we can kind of hone in on that and kind of focus more on those details. And I'm sure we'll see some new flavors this week and add to it. You know, that was probably just the base of their offense, and they'll add to it as they go. They got 2 good tight ends. Obviously, they ran 17 reps with 12 personnel with 2 tight ends in the game. They were 100% run. I'm sure they'll change that up and throw the ball around this week out of that. You know, Alcorn State was heavy 10 personnel. Last week, he only showed 2 snaps of that heavy pass. So I'm sure we'll see some mixture of that this week. So it was good to have him game 1 for sure, and you kind of know exactly what to practice week and kind of have a better idea of where you want to focus at.
Coach Baker, talk about there's someone keeping up with touches and plays and things like that. How about defensively? Is there constant communication with Coach Tesh and the secondary coaches about who's in, who's banged up, stuff like that throughout the game.
Yeah, and we've always did that. We keep up with stops is what we keep up with, but we also keep up with, hey, how many snaps does so-and-so play? Hey, Devin King, he's out there for 10 straight snaps. Let's make sure we get him a break, make sure he's good to go in the fourth quarter. And I think that's what we've always done a good job of here is rolling guys, developing guys. 20, 22 guys, 18 guys are playing in the game. And I see that happening again this year, especially early in the season. I think it's supposed to be 90-something degrees at kickoff, which is awesome. Our kids need to embrace that, a toughness thing, that, hey, we're going to be tougher than the other football team, and we're going to roll more guys. We're going to wear them out. And in the second half, we have the advantage because we're still fresh and we're ready to play. So I think, it helps on a lot of fronts with that. It helps, one, win the ball game, which is most important, keeping guys fresh in the second half. Two, and it helps develop young guys. I mean, Zakai Barker, he's going to get his first start. But Zakai Barker, you're going to see out there on Saturday, and if he continues to play the way he has in practice, it won't look like a first start. It'll look like a veteran player out there. And that's because he's developed over the years, played here, played there, and has some game snaps before.
Kind of going on what we were talking about earlier, going to year 5 for you, you've always changed and adapted. How do you make sure teams can't watch your tape and always know what's coming on your end?
Yeah, I think you always change and adapt based off your personnel. If you have some really strong pass rushers, you better adapt to that. If you have a really strong secondary, you better adapt to that. Or if you're trying to cover guys up, you better move and shake around. And I think as a coordinator, you always got to stay. You can't just go repeat and rinse, repeat and wash, all that kind of stuff. You got to keep developing. You got to keep growing as coaches, as a package, as a system, what we do. So we got to continue to do that in the off season, and we have. And there's some things that we haven't done lately that I think we can get back to and kind of, hey, remember what we did back in 2020 or 21 or 2019, and we can go back to those things. So, and our personnel may allow us to be a little bit differently as well, and I think we'll see that on Saturday night and throughout the first 3 or 4 games.